I would like to take a moment and introduce you to a new product and the inventor of this new product. And starting by saying we have added the key technology to our product line. This is the first product that we don't manufacture ourselves. This is how much confidence I have in the product that Hagen has created. It has been 1 year since we met and became friends, of course. We are close friends. And as I became aware more and more of his technology, using it in my own home, having differences, feeling differences, and having my wife, Jacqueline, experience the benefits of the technology, I wanted to share this with the world through you, our sales agents, medical professionals, and making sure that we can help the world not suffer from the horrible effects of EMF radiation. So, I want to introduce you to one of my dearest friends, Hagen Thiers from Germany.
Hello.
He is here, and he is the inventor, the brainchild of the key technology that blesses the world in Europe. They have had tremendous success in Europe for years, and we now want to introduce it to the rest of the world. Great to be with you, Hagen.
Thank you. I'm glad that we are having this journey together now here all the way over in US. So this is a very big thing for us as well. And yeah, this is really exciting for us as well. So thank you for the opportunity and also to introduce the technology to your sales agents. And this is really great and we appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely. So one of the things that impressed me about Hagen, he invented this product through life. I would say the life experience, through the need on your own to be protected from EMFs. Can you tell us all the story, a little bit of your life story and the beauty of what brought you to the place of inventing the key technology?
So it's always a little bit hard to find a starting point. So I just started in my youth. When I was 8 years old, my father was already an engineer, technical engineer for machines, and he was also in the EMF scene, and he was looking for protective ways and giving presentations there. So I was already 8 years old and joining his presentation, you know, giving the flyers to people visiting there, and you end up in the audience, right?
Yeah.
So to listen. And apparently I was having interesting questions, so I asked him after the presentation and digging for more information, and it was ending up in the way that he didn't anymore have any answers. So he was getting me to some scientists already in really small age, like I think I was like 11, and so to meet first scientists and ask questions. And I think that is also a key point maybe why the technology is so interesting, because we started this when I was still a child. And you know, like in many scientists' ways, it's you have to think different. Many options which you are thinking about, they are always blocked from an adult point of view, so you don't really get ahead. And trials are sometimes just like that, that you always ask, why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? And you just keep bothering the adults, right? and like this, we came to the interesting point of view that we made our own devices. Started that already now over 10 years ago. To build the first devices, had very much success there, so I hold it like my first presentation when I was 13 about this kind of things already. So in front like of 60 people or something like that, so that was fun. And then it was went a little bit out of hand family-wise, because my parents split up. And they both wanted custody over me, and so this thing went out of hand, and they wanted to put me in a child care home, and I didn't like that one bit, so I ran off. Yeah. So not just a couple of days, it was over 3 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't have contact to my family basically, and to any friends and so on, so I was 14 when I left. And I went after like 7 months or so I was away. I went to North Finland and over the polar circle, and there it's like a similar kind of nature, like you would think like Alaska or North Canada or something like that. So really cold, really raw nature, and that was even one of the places where you had 0% of air pollution and no signal of telephone service. And so that was really interesting, and I was staying there for 3 months straight in a row, having no signal, don't having tap water, don't have electricity, don't have all this kind of stuff. So you were just supposed to drink the water out of the lake and things like that. I met like 10 people in that time, which was ridiculous as an experience. You really get to know yourself in that time as well.
Sure.
So, but when I came back to society, I noticed it hit me. I was getting headaches all the time, and I was really sensitive to all the electric fields around me. So I was, even though I was in the past involved with the scene, I knew there was something not so good about this thing. So, but I got really deep into these things, made more research, was making more studies about EMFs, and also trying to find more solution on what can help us. So, and this was the starting point, so getting sensitive and getting the feel that this is something you need, and noticing that we don't have any possibilities to influence the EMFs which are outside of our house. So many people, they shut down their Wi-Fi at night, or they try to have we have many places in our homes in Germany where they switch off the whole fuse for the bedrooms, you know, that there's no electricity even going there, and things like that. So you can influence your own house if you have your own house, right? And but except from that, you don't have much control. They built the 3G at the time. They increased the voltage going through the hard lines outside, the big electricity lines and so on, and they all affect you. And this is scientifically known, so it's not a study which you have to do yourself. The government is doing all the education on this kind of things, how dangerous it is, what kind of laws there need to be, how long away distance they have to be from your house, and so on and so on. But when it comes to this kind of regards, when you have effects from outside, like the Wi-Fi from your neighbors, 3G towers around your house and things like that, you cannot do much about it, right?
Right.
You can just maybe go there and blow the 3G tower off or something, but they will build a new one.
Right.
So so that's not good, and you don't have much of a control over your own over the external devices. So this was a thing where I said, this is no way, this is good. I want to have control over my life. I know that this kind of things are not good for me, and especially at night. You have the need to be having a safe environment where you can recover. Yes. This is really important for us, yes. And especially because we know the studies that all the EMF fields are producing adrenaline. Our body produces adrenaline when we are exposed to EMF fields. Mm-hmm. So that is something which is really bothering our sleep. There's many studies on that and things like that. So even just to start, for instance, to say I don't want to have any influence at night is not really possible. Where I don't use the technology, right? Right. So this was already, like, these were the key points where I started, I have to do something, and we have to come up with a way to not have the bad influence from EMFs on our home as a person, and also from devices which we don't have set up, which we have no control over, right? So this is how it started, and like now we are looking on the products which do this, and we sell them in all Europe and have many thousand customers already over there, and a lot of publicity there. So I'm excited now that we have a launch in the US market.
Yes, it's exciting, and it's exciting to work with you. Personally, we have spent, you've been here twice in the US, I've been in Germany, and we've worked together closely and get along wonderfully. Friendship, even above business, you know, there's a commonality there. But I love the technology because it doesn't require electricity, because it is able to function based on natural laws, not based on electricity or anything else. So a lot of people ask, what's going to happen when the power goes out? Will I still be protected? You know, what's going to happen with these? They ask us about our water system, what's going to happen? And we do require electricity, but here we do not. The unit functions irregardless of electricity because it's functioning under natural law and on its own.
Yeah, so we have our own supply of energy in there, and that's a really complex stuff to look into. We have also made some videos which you publish on your site and how the devices is working and things like that, because it's really complex and it's hard to only explain it by words, because deep science, and so that's why we have their videos also about this thing. But you're right, so they don't need normal electricity plug-in, they are standalone devices, and we have like a mobile unit, which is this one. So you can just put this in your jacket and take it with you. And it's also a nice product, which in Germany many people buy as an entry product to get to know their effects. And so you can try this one, you can take it to work, and this is like what we meant for, what the products are made for. So you can go to work, you can work in New York in a big building with maybe 2,000 people in the whole building, right? Having all working on computers, this kind of style, you can go there and you will be protected from the huge EMF fields you have there.
Yes.
And that is something which we were aiming for doing, so, and this is what we reached. So they are scientifically proven and they show to have these results, and you don't have any adrenaline anymore being produced, your body doesn't get into stress. So many people experience sleep enhancement through it because of the missing adrenaline, and they feel recovering. And especially people which are electrosensitive, they are feeling huge effects from the devices. So it takes them a couple of days, because usually it's some kind of chronic status for most people which are electrosensitive. So they need a couple of days to notice that the effects are not anymore there outside. But it's always important to educate also the people, the customers, sales agents, that you don't have to be sensitive about the EMF so that they are dangerous or harming to you. This is a common mistake which people think. If they don't get headache, that it will not do anything to their head, right?
Right.
So, but you can lock yourself before an infrared camera and you will see the heating up of your tissue and what it does to you and so on. It's just usually that people are not anymore so sensitive. And so this is something which is also important to understand. EMFs are working on you, no matter if you believe that they do or if they don't believe on you, or that you feel effects. Right? We are now living in a state of age where many people, they drop with a heart attack with 40 years old.
Right.
And they didn't feel much before that.
That's right.
So people are more and more getting unaware about their bodies and about their being conscious about what they feel and what they don't feel. And this is something which we also have to educate them.
Absolutely. The same thing is true for food, pesticides. There are many different things that chemicals introduce a lot of issues in the body, but not everyone has the same sensitivity to those issues. You could have one family and one person, it may harm them significantly, but everyone else seems to be okay. The same can be true for EMFs. Here in my life, I don't seem to have some specific issue that I notice, but my wife very significantly is affected even by lights in commercial stores where she has the bulbs that they use, these fluorescent bulbs. If she's in there more than a half an hour, she feels very tired. Me, I don't have that same effect, but that is good because it helps us understand that that is still an effect on the body, and we still have those. So that's what I love about the technology, is it can help everyone. It can protect you. And the thing that we want to make sure that we understand is that this is not combating Wi-Fi or cellular signals or stopping them from working.
Right.
This is protecting your body from the damaging effects.
Yeah, that's right. So that's even the part why we have to look into the science real deep and show the effects of the devices, because it's not that they block out the complete signal or the complete Wi-Fi, that you cannot use it anymore, because most people like them, right? We are convenient to them, we like to stream our music, to get the weather forecast on our watch or whatever right now, you know. And this kind of style, we like this. We like to have the modern style of life. And so that's why I think this is also great value, that you don't have the side effects, the negative side effects of the technology, but you're still able to use them.
Yes, and we were just on the radio recently with Robert Scott Bell talking about all of the studies, and one of the studies that we just saw on one of the CNBC channels was talking about the fact that there have been enough studies now where they have proven that radiation from electromagnetic fields, whether it be cellular, whether it be Wi-Fi, whatever, that radiation does cause issues in the heart. When it comes to cancer, there's a direct tie to different aspects of cancer with the heart and in the ear and in the brain. So we're going to hear more and more about this, and I have friends who can't even stay in a hotel because there's just too much inundation. They're inundated with Wi-Fi, and it really makes them sick, so they have to go rent a house in an area. So there are a lot of people that really, and you could argue maybe the people that are more sensitive maybe are more healthy. And maybe their body is rejecting something that is damaging, or, who knows. But the reality is this will help the entire family, from children who are sometimes more susceptible to the damaging effects of this radiation, but don't know how to communicate that to the parents. I think, imagine growing up in a home where the children are protected from very early life and being raised without those damaging effects, what that could do for the brain, what that could do for the eyes and the ear and the heart and all these things. So I think it's a very beautiful technology from a protective mechanism to empower your body to not have such the effects internally from EMFs. So, whether it's the mobile unit that allows you to protect yourself wherever you are in your car, those people that have Teslas that are electric cars can have higher EMFs in those vehicles. This will be a very good way.
Even an average car has 2,000 meters of electric cable in their car. Imagine just the average car.
Wow. So, carrying it with you, having it with you as a basic minimum, the mobile unit. And then, getting to the home unit, and then the bigger unit for business and commercial applications or large residences. Or even maybe small residences that have a lot of walls, maybe that are thicker or what have you. So maybe you can explain a little bit about the three options that you have in front of you, the mobile, the home, and the business unit.
So we have the mobile unit, which we were talking about. So it's basically designed to protect one person from all EMF effects. So you can just have it with you, and you can have it on the go. You can put it on your side shelf on the bed to have the effects while you're sleeping and things like that. So it's just easy to have around you. You will have no of the EMF effects on your body as a person. It will last for a couple of years, and so it's really great. And also, for instance, to start with, it's a nice product because you can try with one person and so on. So then we have the home unit, which is not just having the effects on EMF, which is also having other attitudes as well, which it gives you benefit to. But this is, I think, not the video right now to go through all the main things, but it has some influence on water, to say so. It gives you energy. If we are getting into the technology, this is really good because it helps you to produce improve your ATP level,
so mitochondrial function?
Yes, the mitochondria is producing our power of our cell or life source, right? ATP or adenosine triphosphate. And this is something which is helping you, the device, to do. And this is covering a normal home of about up to 3,000 square feet. So it's about always regarding the measurements of the house, but about up to 3,000 square feet you can cover. And then you have the big units, like you were saying, for big for homes, for big homes, or for small bureaus and things like that.
Businesses.
Yeah, so this is covering a much bigger area. It's like 4 times the it covers a 4 times bigger area than the key home cell. So that is
so 3,000, and this could do 10 to 12,000.
Yeah, something about 12,000 square feet, but it's always regarding the shape of the property or of the
or maybe even like a 5,000-6,000 square foot home, because there's so many more walls, right?
Sure. So this is what it's designed to do, the big device, and this is the small device.
Now, one neat thing is, when you see the units like this, they're activated and working.
Yeah.
If they're on their side, it almost like puts them in a little mode where they're not functioning.
Yeah, so the field which they produce, if you turn them upside down, is just
On their side.
yeah. If it's just on your side, then it's shut down to just the measurements of the device. And if you flip them over, it activates them, and they take like 24 hours to build up and to the complete size of the field.
So if someone purchased one of these systems, put it in their home, what would we say, 48 hours, 72
24
hours? You could have the whole house
Yes.
covered.
Yes.
Even 24 hours, not
Yes.
even, okay. So
Yeah.
within the first 24 hours, the unit has filled with the protective field. So when we talk about EMFs, electromagnetic field,
Yeah.
this is a field, and we need to think of it in that way. It's a field of radiation that's around us. This is putting almost an antioxidant field, or a
Yes.
field that can combat
Yes.
the radiation field. And so in that 24 hours, you will be able to protect your environment for
Yes.
all those in the home, including animals that also can have damaging effects of
Yes,
radiation.
sure.
So that's great. So this is for, we're up to 3,000 square feet, up to 6,000, or if it's a open commercial area, you could do up to 10 or 12,000 square feet.
Yep.
And that's great. This is the one that I have had in my home, and this is the one where Jacqueline, my wife, of course everyone knows Jacqueline, my wife, when I walked this in, literally, you sent this to me by surprise. This was a year ago, and you surprised me, and this all of a sudden showed up at our facility in the office. And so I'm like, oh wow, so I'm carrying it, it's heavy, I'm walking into our bedroom,
Yes.
and as soon as I walked past Jacqueline, she stopped and said, what is that? And I'm like, why? And she said, I'm feeling sizzling in the air.
Wow.
And of course, I remember telling you that, and
Yes.
you saying, wow, she's sensitive,
Yeah.
she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So literally, this is, in a way, what's happening is you're putting electrons in the air to protect us,
Yes.
and she was able to feel that. I'm always amazed at how sensitive
Yeah.
she is and how amazing she is.
Yeah.
God loves me and has blessed me with an incredible wife. I know this.
Yeah.
I know no one, and anyone who hears me knows that I feel that
Yeah.
way. But what an amazing opportunity to actually feel what it's doing as I'm walking past her. She's so sensitive. And I'm sure that we will have others that are sensitive like that, that will write in and we'll talk about it. Have you, what things do you hear from consumers over the last 4 years that are utilizing these technology, that are saying, here's what happened to me? Not that we're saying this is what's going to happen to you. There's no guarantees. And some people, quite honestly, might sit in the room with this and say, it's beautiful wood and this copper is gorgeous. I like it. I'm just going to put it here to make my room look better. And maybe not feel anything, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not feeling the EMFs, you may not feel this. Who knows how sensitive they are. But I believe there's a lot of people that will feel it.
Yes.
Robert Scott Bell felt it yesterday, just
Yes.
having it in the room.
Doug Kaufman as well, he said.
Yep, Doug Kaufman felt even this unit
Yes,
that
that's
was sitting on the breakfast table
Yeah.
while we were eating. He said he was tired, and by the time we were done breakfast, he felt invigorated.
Yes.
And because he didn't get so much sleep
Yes.
the night before. So these are some of the things. You've talked about sleeping. We talked about combating EMFs, and I'm sure adrenals are affected by EMFs, and so people may feel an increase of energy. ATP would definitely
Yes.
increase their energy. What other things do you
Well-
feel with children particularly? I know you've told a couple stories about the young
Yeah,
men.
yeah. So it's really, you have over 4 years, you gather a lot of resumes and a lot of things you hear about, and everybody, like you said, has a little bit of their own story. So the people which are electrosensitive are the easiest customers to gain because they know the value of that. They appreciate it the most because they will have life value again, and it really makes me emotional when I get to hear the stories of people. There's the government is saying what kind of effects EMFs having on you in which ranges. So if you have a big EMF and you're sensitive to it, it blanks out your real vision. So people literally turn basically blind when they have high EMF field. And we have a community like in Munich which is having experiences this really much because they have some of the highest EMFs there in Germany, and they telling me I can go back to work again. I can go back to the city again because they were like that. They turned blank. Their vision really faded away when they were driving to the cities, and they couldn't go there anymore. They lived outside in the forest and this kind of things. They were not able anymore to live their normal lives.
Wow.
So, and this is like what more and more people are turning into. Many people get more sensitive, and what's also, this is the education part we have to do, because it's a real fun story. If you ask people, are you electrosensitive? They have no clue, because they don't even know what this is. And many of the symptoms, which is regarding EMF sensitiveness, they don't know that this is regarding this. So, but when they made a study and they asked 20,000 people who were living in Munich, they did asking, and they were asking the individual things, like, do you get headaches when you make a telephone call? Do you, like, all those kind of things which are regarding EMFs, and they were aiming to find out how many people are electrosensitive. Over 55% said they are electrosensitive.
Yeah.
So that was really, really amazing. This is years ago. So this increases a lot, and even through the EMFs are always more and more building up. We had now the 3G to 4G change in LTE, right? To have more broadcast on television, on telephones and mobile service and things like that, autonomous driving and things like that. And now they are talking about increasing the power of the mobile phone towers to up to another 70% to increase it.
Wow.
So, and this is supposed to happen in 2019. They had already test areas of that in many places, and so it's gonna get worse. We know that. We love technology, and the whole industry is pushing it, and so on. Yeah. But to come back to resumes, people which are sensitive, and most people which are reading into if they are electrosensitive, like 50% are actually electrosensitive, so they will feel effects. And also we always recommend to make like a small
diary.
No, not well, a diary is kind of what you do. Yeah, we give people in Germany, we give them papers to fill out what's their status, their health status, their mental status, and so on when they get the device, and then we let them fill it out again after 30 days of the device. So because we have to be honest, we are all not that sensitive. We all don't are really focusing on, I buy a Qi home, and I'm like thinking before I get it to the post and before it arrives at my door, I'm thinking, okay, how do I really feel? You know, how good is my sleep? How am I emotionally tense? And do I get headaches? Like, how often do I have headaches? Right? This kind of things. We don't remember those things. We don't write them down normally, and that is what we help the customers to do. That they write down their situation, how they are feeling, that they are also conscious about the things, and then after 30 days you will have forgotten your answers. Of course you do. You don't anymore know what you were crossing, like how is your sleep value, how many hours do you sleep, how valuable do you think that is, and so you fill it out again after 30 days and you see tremendous change there.
Yeah.
And otherwise, if you want to go a little bit more scientifically about it, then you make a blood test, especially about ATP. This is what we are all about to aim for, that this is increasing. So there you will see effects as well. Just make a ATP test of blood, and then after 30 days again, you will see changes and things like that. So we encourage people to do that. And of course we have lots of resume, and yeah, especially about children. I told you a very interesting one, that one child was getting more and more sensitive about EMFs, and they had to take him out of school because they included Wi-Fi's in the rooms and so on, and he could not concentrate anymore, and it was getting worse and worse and worse each day, and it was ending up, and he was 10 years old, the guy, the child, and he couldn't anymore push down the door handle.
Wow.
He was 10, he was a normal guy and before, and so this changed a lot. And the parents didn't know what to do anymore. The school just said, yeah, it's right. It doesn't make sense for him to stay there. He was just sitting in classroom and crying, just crying all the time. So, and they got the device at home, and he could recover again. He was getting back to normal again, and he says, I'm turning back to normal. I don't want to go outside anymore, and things like that. So they got him a mobile device and got better, so he could go outside again, and so on. So you hear these brilliant stories which touch your heart, basically, which are amazing. And but like you said, everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own health, which is regarding them, and has their own problem, and everybody will experience their own story.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I really do believe in doing this study that I have done, paying attention, trying to understand this industry in the last year. I think a lot of people suffer from EMFs that don't understand it's EMFs.
Yes.
Maybe they're feeling, like you said, headache, sleeplessness. Maybe they're having lower energy. Maybe they're having all kinds of things.
Blood pressure is a big part as well. What's always regarding EMFs. A disruption of the whole body. We have to understand our body is working through electric signals. If we are wanna moving this finger here, we do it by electric impulse.
Right.
So, and what we forget is, and this is something why even some say it's a what is it called, a conspiracy theory, that because all the things which the normal communication is, it's just exact the same frequency than the body is communicating at, but just much stronger.
So the EMFs are similar or the same frequency our body
just
uses?
exact the frequency.
Wow.
That's why some say this is no coincidence, because you would have had hundreds, thousands of possibilities on what frequency to go for communication, and they put it on just the exact frequency that our body is communicating. So, and if you are thinking about this regard, that the whole body is communicating, the heart function, everything is working on electric signals, and we are just having an electric frequency around us, which is just like 100,000 times stronger, just on the same frequency.
Wow.
So, of course, it has to have a disruption. We know that, you know, when you have you can turn on like your telephone and put it on the same channel, and you sometimes hear like the airplanes and things like that. It's just the same, you know. It's much stronger and it will interfere your normal communication. And this is the same way the body works, and that's why it has so many interferences as well. And it's just exactly the same frequency, just a much higher power. And that's why it has on so many levels effects, and you can look at the studies, and they're like huge, amazing, big studies, and it's like you can go to the most common thing like the World Health Organization and look on their opinion about it, and you will see that it's that there's no question about it's good having less EMFs and less EMF effects on you.
Well, I agree. I always say go back 200 years ago, whether it's the diet or lifestyle, if you really want to have health, think about what was going on 200 years ago when there was very few diseases on this planet, and think about what they were doing. I like what you said about the forest, people going in the forest. I would say that the key technology is like, in a way, bringing the forest or the ocean into your home.
Yeah, not the ocean maybe, but the forest is better.
Yeah, the ocean has electrons, right? And the forest too, so you know, you could bring that or bring nature into your home a little bit more to clean the environment and to help you and empower you to resist the...
That's our slogan. That's our slogan in Germany, bring nature back home.
Oh, nice.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, what other things do they need to know when they're going to be talking, when the sales agents are going to be talking about this technology? We do know that the key home and business will last about 10 years before we need to be recharged.
I think we are getting a little bit out of time at this video, so I think we should push the more detailed questions in the next one. But I think one more thing is to say about this kind of things. Like you have some people which always believe what the public is telling, what the organizations is telling. Many people are giving their own judgment away to oppositions. And I think it's important to say a little bit about the legal status of this kind of technology, about EMFs. So maybe that's a good chapter to close with. Because normal technology, especially here in the US, you know that, company have to back up their technology, that they are not harming people, that they are safe, that there are things like that. You know, you have this crazy user manuals here in the America, don't put a cat in the microwave and what, I don't know what, so this kind of stuff. And so you have this kind of things here, and people have to back it up. So, and we can look at really radical on the point of view on EMFs. At about the change of the millennium, 1999 to 2000, it was changed that the companies producing mobile phones and things like that do not anymore have to back up for their technology health regarding issues. So in order to increase the production to go forward with the technology, to increase power and things like that. Imagine you had in 1992 there were less than 1 million mobile phones in the world.
Right.
At 1998, 6 years later, 48 million people in
Wow.
Germany had a phone.
Wow.
48 million in Germany in 6 years.
Yeah.
So you see the change there, right? And it was getting huge, and we noticed what Apple is the most valuable company on earth right now because of the iPhone and things like that. It was pushed tremendously. So the government let them drop the warranties and things like that for the technology that it's that they have to back up that it's not dangerous.
Wow.
They had dropped that, and still the WHO is telling that it's probably cancer-causing mobile phones. And we have court cases in Germany which were done through, which were related directly. The court was speaking the companies guilty that the mobile phone was causing brain cancer. But it wasn't the mobile phone company which were producing the phone which had to pay, it was the health insurance company having to pay for the treatments.
Wow.
So this is really something which we don't understand, that this is some of the biggest technology which we use every day, and there is nobody backing up for any damage which is happening and which is so threatened, and on a big point of view it's proven to be dangerous to you and harmful to you. This is the only case scenario on earth this is happening, so this is something which is really to think about. And like you said, just 200 years ago we didn't have that, and that is something to keep in mind, because the body is always adjusting to environment. For a body genetically to notice a change in environment, it takes 1,000 generations
Wow.
of body change
Wow.
to notice a difference in the environment. This is scientifically known.
Wow.
So for us to adjust to EMFs, it will just happen in about 1 millennia that we even noticed that the body, that there's something huge different going on. That's why we are so messed up with handling all this. It wasn't existing. Like 1902, the first flights were existing, right? Like the people stopped flying.
Right.
What are we doing now? We are flying each day, basically.
Right.
And,
Constantly.
constantly, and using this technology, and not like 100 years ago, like with a small screen and a normal kite, but we are going now with more than 1,000 kilometers an hour on an altitude about 12,000 meters.
Yeah.
So this is changed so rapidly, and the body hasn't even started to begin to adjust to this kind of fields around us. So that's why we are our body still doesn't know how to handle all of these things. So that's
Thank
why
you.
maybe it's important for you as well over here.
Yeah,
Like we have the same in Europe. There's huge focus on us in Europe, and we are having a standalone point of view for the EU sales agent especially to know about. We are not connected to devices. It doesn't matter which frequencies you are affected by, because the technique is working no matter on which frequency you are coming harm from. So that's why it's also not. It's also backed up for the next years. If there's coming in 5G, it will be working the same way,
Sure.
and it will protect you. And if the wireless frequency is changed, then it will work on this as well. So we don't know what kind of technologies are coming the same year,
Sure.
but the way it works, the radiation is working on your body is always the same. It produces
Sure.
heat in your body and disturbance of your communication in the body, and this we have a real solution which works no matter on which frequency the EMFs are coming from. So this is a real standalone point of view, and we don't have this kind of thing anywhere else on you.
So this gives us tremendous hope for whatever they come up with in the future. This will protect you. This is ready to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hagen. I am honored to be able to work with you, be friends with you, and to continue to heal the planet and to help people to be protected from these kind of things. We all enjoy, you have an iPhone, I have an Android, we have laptops, we have Wi-Fi, we have all these things because it's convenience, right? To have all of these things.
You gotta have them.
Yeah, but we definitely want to protect ourselves. And so thank you for inventing such an amazing, life-changing technology. And again, Synergy Science, we are honored to have this technology and to be able to help the world heal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hagen.